right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at some of the major vocabulary that we use in geometry, points, lines, and planes. And then we're going to talk about these postulates and undefined terms. So we do have a lot of vocab I warned you about. So I highly recommend pausing to copy things down. Undefined terms are words just point, line, or plane that is not mathematically defined using other words, but there's a common understanding of what the word means. So by the end of this, we're going to understand what point, line, or plane means without actually having a definition for it. So a point, we said we're not going to have a definition, but all of a sudden here we are. A point has no dimension and it's represented by a small dot. That's how we know we have a point. A line has one direction, so this is what we mean by dimension. It's one dimension. It goes from left to right, up and down, diagonally, extends without end in two directions. So it's represented by a line with two arrowheads. So we have two arrowheads there. All right. A plane has two dimensions. So a line either goes up and down or left and right. A plane is going to do both those things. So this has length and width. It's represented by a shape that looks like a floor or a wall. So I think of a plane as a floor or a wall or a piece of paper. And you have to imagine that it does extend without end. So our paper has a boundary, our walls have boundary. Planes have no boundary. Postulate is a statement that's accepted without further justification. So we're not going to prove things. We don't do a whole lot of proofs here in geometry, but postulates are things we just accept as being true. Collinear points are points that lie in the same plane. So think of co as being the same. They're together. Coplanar points are points that lie on the same plane. So this co gives us that same definition each time. Coplanar lines are lines that lie in the same plane. So we're seeing a lot of similarities here with these definitions. Segments and endpoints. A segment is part of a line that consists of 2 points called the endpoint. So a segment has a beginning and an end, and line does not have a beginning and an end with that. All right, so a ray, ray AB consists of endpoint A. So this first letter is your endpoint on the line AB that lies on the same side of A as B. So a ray AB, you're going to see this, it has an endpoint and then goes towards B. All right, so let's take a look at our first postulate that says 2 points determine a line. So it says through any 2 points, there is exactly one line. And so what that means, when we look at it in terms of symbols, line N, we're going to distinguish our lines with a lowercase kind of italic letter, passes through points, P and Q. And so that's where our job is to determine lines. Postulate 3, through any 3 non-collinear points, there's exactly one plane. Non-collinear means they are not in the same line. So if you look at this, AC is on the same line, but I can't get B on there. I could draw AB, oops, lost my points there. Could draw a line through AB, but I can't get C on there. So that's what it means to be a plane. 3 points that you cannot connect with one line. And when it says plane T, so the plane name is a capital letter in the lower corner. All right. So example 1, it says naming points, lines, and planes. It says to name 3 points. We're looking for 3 dots. So it looks like D has a dot, E has a dot, and F has a dot. So we're looking for these dots here. It says to name 2 lines. Remember 2 lines with those lowercase letters. So P and M. And then name 2 planes. We're looking for what looks like 2 pieces of paper, and and we're looking for the capital italics letters. So we have Q and R here. So Q and R. Example 2, we need to name collinear and coplanar. Name 3 points that are collinear. We need 3 points on the same line, so 3 dots that line up. So if we look, we've got D, E, and F here. They're on the same line, so they are collinear. We need 4 points that are coplanar. So if we look, if D, E, and F are collinear, that means they're automatically coplanar, and then on that same plane is G. So we have D, E, F, and G lie on the same plane, so they are coplanar. And then 3 points that are not collinear. So I need 3 points, I'm going to kind of erase what I had there, that do not all lay on the same line. There are many correct answers to this. So when I looked at this, G, E, F is one example. I can get a line through E, F, but in order to go through G, it would have to curve, and lines can't curve. So G, E, GEF is one example, and this is what we'll go over tomorrow in class a little bit more closely. So your checkpoints, we're going to do this as the warm-up. Tomorrow in class, guys, we're going to take a look at these and do them as the warm-up in class tomorrow. We need to draw a diagram for each word. So there's a line as the word. These are the symbols. So what it would be is it would be 2 arrowheads, and we can tell we have 2 arrowheads from here. And then we need to put 2 points, and then we have A and B. Segment, if you notice, there's no arrows, so we just have this, but that means A and B are the endpoints, so I know exactly where A and B have to go. And then we have rays, and there's 2 ways we can draw a ray. We can have endpoint A go towards the arrow B, or we can start at B and go towards A. So depending on which letter comes first, it changes the direction of our ray. All right, now we need to draw line segments and rays. We want to draw 3 non-collinear points, J, K, and L, and then draw lines JK, segment KL, and ray LJ. So you're going to draw those so they are not collinear. So I'm going to draw J, K, and L. I want to draw a line JK, so I connect J and K. And because I can see the 2 arrowheads on here, I put arrowheads. I then need to draw a segment, KL. So there's no arrows, so I start at K and go to L. I stop, I don't go past that. And then here it says there's 1 arrowhead right here. So that means I start at L, go past J, and put an arrow at the end, so that gives me my ray. So this is a ray, a segment, and a line. All right, so for your follow-up, you're going to check in class. So that means you do this now. All right, you need to determine whether the symbol is a line, segment, or ray. How many arrowheads do you see, and name the end points. And so the number of end points should be determined by how many arrowheads there are. All right, and then this is our checkpoint. And once again, we will do this one in class once we check some of the other things. All right, guys, I hope you have a good evening.